Well, hey there, market enthusiasts. Ready to dissect today's action? We've got some serious movers and shakers to discuss, from big acquisitions to surprising earnings reports.
Absolutely. It was quite a day. So let's jump right into the stocks that made headlines on March 5th with notable movements.
First up, let's talk about Gensol Engineering. What's the story there?
Unfortunately, it's not good news. Care Ratings downgraded their credit ratings due to delays in servicing their term loans, leading to a 10% decline and triggering the lower circuit. So liquidity is poor right now, like trying to sprint with ankle weights.
Ouch, that's rough. Okay, shifting gears completely. What's happening with Angel One?
Good news here, actually. Ambarish Kenghe, formerly a big name at Google Pay APAC, is joining as Group CEO next year. The market seems optimistic. Shares jumped 4.5% on the news, reaching an intraday high.
Okay, a new CEO known for growth and innovation. That makes sense. Now, what about Avanti Feeds? They're usually pretty stable.
They've got a few things going on. They launched a cat food brand called Avant Frust through their subsidiary, and IFL Facilities Services acquired a 4.39% stake, while Thai Unions sold an identical stake. Plus, their Q3 net profit surged 87%.
Wow, so a mix of strategic moves and strong performance, huh? How did the market react?
The market loved it. Shares surged 10% intraday, eventually closing up 6.22%. It's like a triple shot of espresso for investors.
Nice. All right, let's move on to Polycab India. Morgan Stanley seems bullish on them, right?
Exactly. Morgan Stanley rated them overweight with a price target of rupees 7395, driven by strong demand for cables and wires and expected export growth. Their revenue for the first 9 months of 2024 is also up 24%.
So growth across the board. How did the stock perform today?
Shares gained 3.5%, hitting an intraday high. It shows investors are buying into that growth story.
Let's switch to Coromandel International. I saw they had a pretty good day.
You're right. It was their best day in 5 years, with shares rising nearly 10%. Their Q3 net sales were up nearly 27% and net profit doubled. They also inaugurated a soil and leaf testing lab and secured a big order.
That's a lot of positive news in one day.
Absolutely. It's like they hit the jackpot with all that good news at once.
Now, tell me about Jindal Drilling and Industries. What's driving their stock?
They acquired a jackup rig called Jindal Pioneer for $75 million, funded through internal accruals. This expands their fleet, operating with ONGC in India.
Smart move, especially with the focus on domestic energy. How did their shares react?
Shares jumped 12% intraday, closing up 9.36%. Investors clearly see the value in expanding their operational capabilities.
Okay, good news for Jindal. What about Deepak Nitrite? I heard Anathak upgraded them.
They did. Kotak Institutional upgraded them to add with a target of rupees 2020. However, their Q3 was affected by margin pressures and a plant shutdown.
So a bit of a mixed bag.
Exactly. But the upgrade suggests confidence in their long-term potential. The shares rallied and closed up 4.28%. It's like a vote of confidence despite some current challenges.
Let's talk about RBZ Jewelers. I saw something about a fraud incident.
Yes, unfortunately, they reported an employee fraud of rupees 2 crore. A cashier is accused of falsifying records, and a police complaint has been filed.
That's definitely going to rattle investors. How did the stock react?
Shares fell 7% intraday, closing down 4.98%. News like that erodes investor trust pretty quickly, so they took a hit.
Makes sense. Moving on, what's the deal with Tata Steel?
The buzz is around expected steel output cuts in China, which could benefit Indian firms like Tata Steel. Also, the Nifty Metal Index rose over 4%, and the Indian Steel Association is pushing for anti-dumping policies.
So broader industry trends are helping them out?
Precisely. Shares rose over 5% intraday, which shows the market anticipates positive impacts from these industry dynamics.
What's new with Adani Wilmar?
They're acquiring an 80% stake in GD Foods, which owns the Tops brand. This move is aimed at boosting their processed food segment.
Makes sense, diversifying their portfolio. How did the market react?
Shares rose nearly 9% intraday, closing up 7.73%. Investors see this as a strategic move to strengthen their market presence, and the shares responded positively.
Okay, a lot of movement there. Now let's talk about M&M. UBS upgraded them, right?
Yes, UBS upgraded M&M to buy with a target of rupees 3,300. They expect 9% volume growth and seem to be dismissing concerns about Tesla. Plus, the stock reversed a 19% downturn from the past month.
That's quite a turnaround.
It is. Shares gained nearly 5%, which indicates strong investor confidence following the upgrade.
What's the buzz around BSE LTBK?
Well, NSE is shifting its F&O expiry to Mondays from April 4th, 2025. This aims to account for weekend geopolitical developments.
And how did BSE react to that news?
Not well, actually. Shares fell over 9% intraday, eventually closing down 3.67%. It appears investors are concerned about the potential impact on BSE's trading volumes.
Let's discuss Coforge. What's driving their surge?
They signed a massive $1.56 billion deal with Sabre Technologies. Plus, they're acquiring TM Labs and Rhythmos, and they approved a 1.5 stock split.
Wow, a lot of major developments. How did the market react?
Shares surged over 11% intraday, closing up 8.42%. Investors are thrilled with these growth-oriented moves.
Okay, big news for Coforge. Let's move on to RVNL.
They secured a rupees 729.8 crore project from HPSCBL focusing on loss reduction in Himachal Pradesh. However, their Q3 net profit was down 13%.
A mix of good and bad news then.
Exactly. Shares rose nearly 8% intraday, but then closed up only 3.1%. It seems investors are weighing the new project against the profit decline.
And finally, GE Vernova. What's happening with them?
They secured rupees 500 crore in orders from Power Grid Corporation for transformers and reactors to be executed over 36 months. Their Q3 net profit also increased significantly compared to last year.
Sounds positive overall. How did the market respond?
Shares gained over 4% intraday, closing up 1.7%. The market seems to like their steady growth and new order wins.
Well, that wraps up our deep dive into today's market movers. We covered everything from Gensol's credit downgrade to Coforge's massive deal.
Absolutely. Quite a roller coaster of news and market reactions today. By the way, a quick note, this is not financial advice, and we recommend you check with a certified expert before making any investment decisions.
Definitely important to remember. Now, to all of our listeners who tuned in, what do you think about these stock movements?
Yeah, if you liked today's episode, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and share it with your friends.
We'll be back tomorrow with more updates. Thanks for tuning in.
See you all next time.